This piece is called Avoiding the Occupy Oakland Demonstrations. My wife marched in them, but I had to teach. You shouldn't talk about the economy to anyone, the visible and invisible war. You can't be really sure you don't know which side you're on, and you can't tell the allegiances of the people around you. What is still useful remains sketchy under such conditions. Lean back and have good posture. If you're going in one direction, turn around. In a soft war, it's hard to believe you're in one. So you ride the 72R 2 stops down San Pablo from Brand, on the corner of Broadway. Oh, the slowing down, the bumpiness of buses, which is the least likely word for kisses. It's better to be a porcupine this year, so long as you don't have to stab out all the time, and you don't have to think about the war. Or you ride the bus anyway, sticking out all stuck, thinking about the war. So, 10 years ago, I was working on 2 projects. I was writing a series of 7-line poems that are very concise and tight. And I was writing this long, sprawling collage poem about growing up in Las Vegas. And the one thing that held them together was that I wasn't allowing myself to use darkness in either of the projects, because darkness had become a sort of crutch in my writing. But after 9/11, I couldn't keep that out of my work. And so I sort of poured that energy into the long collage poem, and all these other elements started coming in, like Israeli real estate speculation and architectural theory and biblical stuff and quotes from people named Daniel. And so that is what became of that. And the last 3 poems are the ones that are in this anthology, and I'll read those. This one's called Words in Their Most Difficult Orders. So when you come before your architect, you can say how many bedrooms and bathrooms you want, but you have no idea how you want to live. All of our knowledge comes from magazines, so therefore, to think of trees, then to think you are seen, then to stay in the same place, then to stay keyed into all that is turning, because you are a part of it, not revealing how many secrets you have left to keep. Then delicate air, then delicious water, rain droplets punching the symbols of your new tin roof. Dwellings, and in them you divide yourself, so there is a forest of yourself, and water all around you. I used to live near Little Silver. I used to know the names of all my teachers. I knew so many phone numbers. I knew the usual words in their most difficult orders. And once, people like me did know what a house was, like in the White City in Tel Aviv, the city center, the one which was built in the 1930s and 40s. There was never any lack of models from other places, but there was a different awareness of the surroundings and also social responsibility. So receive me kindly, stranger that I am. Let me get a little better at knowing the names of plants around here, how to get around. You keep expecting learning these things to be like Adam working with God, and at first it is. You acquire a surface knowledge of where you are, and it is easy. But then everyone becomes more cranky and imperious, and you realize God doesn't really know you, or doesn't want to know you that well. Perhaps God just skims over you, like a guidebook to Nevada. There's plenty of dark, a universe not interested in being known. Becoming agents then, those with enough authority to act, whose conversations are battles and manifestabilities. They were travelers. They've been to places you've only dreamed about. They beckon and you do your best work for them. They have all kinds of things you can use, some of which they'll give to you, some of which are for sale. They have treasures. They make you value things you once threw away. And because, in the head, in the horn you hear, on the way to work, high above you, you think, who is watching you? Who is really looking? Who can see? What's going in? Who is going through? Above all are relationships, imitating the one relationship which was severed so long ago, yet you must receive me. You must let me in. You must prove that you are not part of a city, for the army will always move toward your city. And though we thought, once released from bondage, we would leave and not return, which is what death is, we stayed instead, and perhaps suffered. There would be promises and no secrets. We would not disappear, no matter what became of us. Therefore, to say, To be able to say therefore and so without understanding the meaning of these words. Let us abide, put aside our quarrels and not be overwhelmed. Stones pulled up and broken apart into smaller stones to be thrown at men on patrol or ground up into powder. Portland cement to be used to build apartment blocks where we live as if in cells and feel nothing but shame between one another. Remain indebted to our blasted unions. Since the war, you kept guilt to yourself. You kept it, but you asked me to step over it from where you were to where we're going to hide. Dan Barker says atheism is like having a large debt canceled. Sometimes it's worthwhile to engage in a hopeless argument. And I know that it's stupid to talk about dreams. When you say, I dream, and you mean this is what I want, or this is what I've always wanted, that you only get when you're asleep. It is stupid to be literal. It's stupid to use the word dream instead of this is what scares me. Sometimes I wake up and I don't remember my dreams, which implies I haven't really slept in the right way. I can't remember my dreams is to say I haven't really lived. We haven't stopped sleeping. One part of you goes to work and another part of you dreams. I know this is stupid, to dream, to say what I want, to believe that these poems will reach their intended, that it will reach their intended and be understood. It will be understood and found persuasive. It will reach out and work, and the one for whom it is intended will stop what he or she is doing, and he or she will not kill themselves. He or she will not kill anyone or not kill anyone anymore. I'm talking to my wife about Eden and how it is often confused with paradise. As in, we once lived in paradise, and when we die, we will live in paradise. And with enough work, or enough prayer, or enough allied forces, if everyone would just wake the fuck up, if the veil could be lifted, then paradise would come right now. Or maybe God is waiting, and after terrible wars, paradise, like rain, would come down when the world is all barren and windswept. Some believe that we can hasten this by wrecking things. They have power now, and I don't know what will change their minds. So there's this garden. And in this garden, it is still morning, and it is always early in this place, and birds love us there, and not just because we feed them. We know their minds, and we can sing of roundnesses, and they would sing of all their nests. It's a dialogue, and it once was holy, but this holiness was taken from us, along with everything else. I believe there was no angel with a flaming sword barring us from that gate. I believe the two of us and every single animal that lived over there never moved a step. Instead, Eden left us. It stopped being Eden and became earth, in the same way that God had to remove a part of himself to allow creation. Eden had to be moved. And if you were naked, it would not come back. And if you were embarrassed, it would not come back. If you were brave, it would move further away. And if you worked really hard, the sweat of your brow, etc., you get rewarded by knowing not just what you've lost, but what was taken from you. Your parents choosing it for you, like their parents choosing it for them, and all the rotten reasons God made first, or we put in God's mouth when we were at our most wretched and hateful, or what the government said, invoking whatever mystery or power to make their actions stick. That's why all the promises that it's coming back convince us. And that first place is conflated with what should be the last place, the very last place, the end of all places. Dirt-colored water, undrinkable water, reflecting paradise of slipping through, that we can slip through, though secretly we believe we will never be worthy, equally American and faithful, unquestioning, and so easily manipulated, rigid and lumped together, not thinking about where all that water used to be. Then ridge or tiptoe, then help or some more help, then shoulders and back, then burdens taken up, then set down, then rain which compacts itself, then spreads a little, then happy crows, basic and squat, regarding, then spanning, then push off, then titles, every single one, then congenial world, then going that way. Then so doing, as you like mistakes and hips and jokes and waking up in the morning and sipping tea with your neighbor and arguing over policy and stupid design and so much, there is not enough mention made of how much you like these things. Not enough mention is made. Not enough. So stay in this world. Stay in this world. Flourish in this world. Thank you.